Hello, and welcome to Dolphin's Dive, a weekly strategically minded Handelabra stream hosted by Logic Dolphin. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively work against those goals are not welcome and will not be tolerated. And with that, let's begin. We're continuing our 2 adversary streak. This week versus Russia 3 and Habsburg 2, and the 2 spirits that we've been given are a spread of rampant green regrowth and grinning trickster stirs up trouble. We had this guy a couple weeks ago, and he came back again because he is a trickster. But first, let's look at the adversaries. The Tsardom of Russia. Additional loss condition: hunters swarm the island. Track beasts destroyed by adversary rules. If that number ever exceeds the number of beasts on the island, the invaders win. The escalation, which will happen in stage 2, stalk the predators. On each board, add 2 explorers total among lands with beasts. If you can't, instead add 2 explorers among lands with beasts on a different board. We have hunters seek, shell, and hide. During setup on each board, add 1 beasts and 1 explorer to the highest numbered land without buildings. During play, explorers do +1 damage. When Ravage adds blight to a land, including cascades, destroy 1 beasts in that land. A sense for impending disaster. The first time each action would destroy an explorer, if possible, one of those explorers is instead pushed. 1 fear when you do so. Competition among hunters. Ravage cards also match lands with 3 or more explorers. If the land already matched the Ravage card, it still ravages just once per card. And we have Habsburg. To be specific, the Habsburg Monarchy Livestock Colony, as there's another Habsburg, I believe, that's coming in Nature Incarnate, and I've not played that one yet. Additional loss condition: irreparable damage. Track how many blight come off the blight card during ravages that do 6+ overkill to the land. If that number ever exceeds players, the invaders win. We have escalation, which happens in stage 3, seek prime territory. After exploring on each board with 4 or fewer blight, add a town to a land without towns or blight. On each board with 2 or fewer blight, do so again. We have migratory herders. After the normal build step, in each land matching a build card, gather 1 town from a land not matching a build card in board land order. And more rural than urban. During setup on each board, add a town to land number 2 and a town to the highest numbered land without setup symbols. During play, when invaders would build a city in an inland land, they instead build 2 towns. So, there's no invader deck manipulation. Some setup changes. I believe it goes primary setup and then secondary setup for board changes. I believe it goes secondary first for invader deck changes, but I'm not sure. But in any case, there's a town to land number 2, a town to the highest number of land without setup symbols, beasts and explorer to the highest number of land without buildings. That's the setup changes. Rules changes: explorers do +1 damage. When Ravage adds blight to a land, including cascades, destroy a beast in that land. First time an action will destroy explorer, push 1 of those explorers instead and fear if you do so. Ravage cards match land with 3 or more explorers. And after the normal build step, in each land matching a build card, gather a town from a land not matching a build card. So Ravage changes and build changes, but no explorer changes other than escalations, which again, the one that happens in stage 2 is adding explorers among lands with beasts, and the one that happens in stage 3 is add a town to land without towns or blight. And we have 2 loss conditions that we have to keep track of, or rather the game will keep track of. Beasts destroyed by adversary rules. If that exceeds the number of beasts on the island, the invaders win. We also have blight from ravages doing 8+ damage. If that number ever exceeds players, the invaders win. And bear in mind, explorers deal 2 damage. Hello, Orgasm Eternal. More human than human. Did I say that? More human than human. No, more rural than urban. Anyway, those are the adversaries. The spirits that we have with us are a spread of rampant green regrowth. Setup: put 2 presents on your starting board. 1 in the highest numbered wetland and 1 in the jungle without any Dahan. Take 13 destroyed presents. So the extra change here is 13 destroyed presents. Special rules: choke the land with green. Whenever invaders would ravage or build in a land with your sacred site, you may prevent it by destroying 1 of your presents in that land. We did lose steady regeneration We do have a lot of destroyed presence to start with. Growth options. We always add a presence to a jungle or wetland within range 2. And we pick one of these. Number 1, reclaim cards, gain power card. Number 2, add a presence at range 1, +1 card play this turn. Number 3, gain a power card, gain 3 energy. Starts at 0 energy, 1 card play per turn, goes up to 3 energy and 4 card plays per turn, and gets 2 plants. Innate powers. Creepers tear into mortar. At 1 moon, 2 plant, 1 damage to a building. 2 moon, 3 plant, repeat this power. 3 moon, 4 plant, repeat this power again. We also have unbelievable regrowth. At 2 water, 3 plant, this power may target any terrain, normally targets jungle wetlands. At 1 water, 3 plant, add a destroyed presence. At 2 water, 4 plant, add a destroyed presence. And at 3 water, 5 plant, add a destroyed presence to an adjacent land. This replaces all enveloping green, so we no longer have our innate defend, but we get destroyed presences faster than we do in the original. As in, we get them. I mean, the original, we can put destroyed presence, but you'd normally choose to take from your presence track until you run out, and then you'd put destroyed presence. Most likely. I don't really foresee why you would not want to do that. Maybe there's some specific effect that doesn't want you to have destroyed presence, but normally those are positive because they allow you to put destroyed presence onto the board. But anyway, we have this, so, but no defend. All of our original powers are still here. We have Grinning Trickster, stirs up trouble. Setup, put 2 presents on your starting board, 1 in the highest numbered land with Dahan and 1 in land number 4. Special rules, a real flair for Discord. After one of your powers adds strife in a land, you may pay 1 energy to add 1 strife within range 1 of that land. And cleaning up messes is a drag. After one of your powers removes blight, destroy 1 of your presents. Ignore this rule for let's see what happens. Growth options, pick 2. At -1 cost, reclaim cards, move a presence. That's option 1. Option 2, add a presence range 2. Option 3, gain a power card. Option 4, gain energy equal to card plays. Starts at 1 energy and 2 card plays per turn. Gets up to 3 energy and 5 card plays. Gets a moon and any, a fire and air, and a push 1 Dahan from one of your lands. The innate powers are, let's see what happens. At 1 moon, 1 fire, and 2 air, discard minor powers from the deck until you get 1 that targets a land. Use its text effects on target land immediately, ignoring normal range and targeting restrictions. All up to instructions must be used at maximum value. Treat all ors as ands. It is not considered a card of yours or a card in play. Its effects are treated as performed by this power as if its text were copied here. Yeah, so random, go. Also, 2 moon, 1 air, 2 plant, or whoa. 2 moon, 1 fire, 2 air. What am I saying? You may forget a power card to gain the just used power card to hand and 1 energy. So we could just completely gamble and get rid of all of our cards and just go minor powers. Perhaps a viable way of playing the spirit. Avoid the reclaim because it costs an energy. Energy could be strife or card plays or something. Also, why don't you and them fight? At 3 moon, this power may be slow. At 3 air, add a strife. At 3 sun or 3 fire, 1 invader, 1 Dahan deal damage to each other. And at 3 animal, if target land has beasts, 2 damage. Otherwise, you may gather 1 beasts. So lots of random elements, but lots of random effects that can occur. And we have lots of fun cards such as Overenthusiastic Arson, Unexpected Tigers, Incite the Mob. Okay. Let us play. Noises. Sands. All right. So builds. And bear in mind that even if we stop the build, they can still gather a town from a land not matching the build card, which currently all of these lands has an adjacent town, except for H2, I guess. All right. And I believe this counts even if we skip the build. So it says after the normal build step. So it doesn't say after you successfully build, it just says after the build step, so. Yeah, so it cannot be skipped. All right. We can skip Ravages, though, with Rampant Green. Also, bear in mind that any land that has 3 or more explorers also ravages. Which doesn't happen on turn 1 because there's no ravage card, but just so you know. At least I'm pretty sure that's the case. There's no ravage here, right? Okay. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? It's kind of annoying that explorers do +1 damage, as green is pretty bad at dealing with explorers by himself. At least one of these ravages probably has to happen. We don't have an innate defend, so it kind of stinks. We could push a town, we could damage towns, but we can't push explorers currently. So, putting an extra presence down might be nice. Get up to this plant, so we have an innate energy and an innate plant. Proliferate, Grinning Trickster, and play some other card. It's not gonna give us. Well, I guess with the plant, all of our cards are plant. If we play one of these water cards, which we will be forced to, we will still put a Destroyed Presence down, which is nice, as that can put a Sacred Site in a Sands to allow us to skip a Ravage. Now, the Overkill is 6+, that's 8 damage, so City is 3, Town is 2, Explorer is 2, so 7 damage, and D7 does not trigger the irreparable damage loss. None of these lands have beasts, except for board H, but we'll worry about that later. But if we do let both of these ravages go, that's okay. Some blight is okay, although normally we would have to wait till stage 2 to deal with the extra escalations, but in this case it's stage 3. So I mean, we were getting extra explore small lands with beasts, but this thing, towns land without towns or blight, that doesn't happen until stage 3, at which point hopefully the game will be solved, but who knows. So let's do this. And I think protecting D7 is probably better than D4, as there's Dahan in D7. Protecting Dahan is generally better. Oh, it is going to gather a town from D8, so this is going to be 9 damage, so protecting this is actually pretty important. D4 is still 6 damage when they gather D2, so that's okay. But let's put some Sacred Site down. We're also putting one in D7. Let's be in a land with invaders. I guess this is going to be my presence. Because when I put Destroyed Presence down with Unbelievable Regrowth, oh, I'm not targeting any terrain. Oh. Oh. Well. That's probably okay. We could do the same thing next turn and get 2 energy so I can play my hand. I won't get to 2 card plays, but I'll still be able to play my hand and get a Sacred Site in D7 that way. Or I could Overgrow as well, although I would want that plus energy anyway, but if I take this growth option, I don't get to 2 card plays no matter what that power card is. So, yeah, probably that's fine. Anyway, that should protect D7, and then D4 turns into a Ravage. We do have Stem the Flow, and we have Creeper's Tear, so we can kill a town. But I guess that means that we don't have to block D7's Ravage, as it will actually not deal irreparable damage, but we'll still kill the Dahan, so it's kind of nicer to do that. Okay. So H2, even without the build, they're not gathering a town, so that is fine to Ravage. Let's mark that temporarily as such. H8 is building and gathering a town and has a beasts in there. So strifing the town and having that town damage other invaders. Potentially we could push 2 explorers, or rather kill 1 explorer, push 1 explorer out. The combination of the fact that we're pushing one explorer as well as lands with 3 explorers or more will ravage is kind of annoying, as we would like to group up explorers so that we can kill all but one, but in so doing, that land will ravage. So probably dealing with the 2 explorers here is better than dealing with the town that's there. In theory, we can just over-enthusiastic arson to kill the town that's left, but hopefully we can just see what happens, probably. Probably gaining a power card. We are at 2 card plays. I guess the question is, do I have the elements? I'm assuming Impersonate Authority and Incite the Mob are what I want to do for H3, or sorry, H8. It looks like a 3 because of that flag, but it's actually an 8. But that gives me a moon, a fire, and 2 air, so I will be able to see what happens. If I take this moon, it's not going to do anything. Well, I guess it will let me forget a power card to gain the just used card to hand. But I probably don't want to do that this turn, as it'd be better to forget cards that are in my discard. Especially as this power is fast, right? I could forget a power card from hand, I guess. But this adds beasts, which is nice for dealing with Russia. I don't want to forget that. And over-enthusiastic arson is a backup plan in case I can't deal with the H8 ravage some other way. So this is pretty much. Oh, I guess it depends on what Let's See What Happens does. I think targeting H8 with that is still good. In any case, I do think it's a power card. We could gain 2 energy. In theory, that would allow me to not just strife a town in H8, but also strife a neighboring building or whatever. So I can pay energy to add strife within range 1. I guess actually that could strife the other town in H8, right? It says within range 1. It doesn't say an adjacent land. I thought it said adjacent, but it actually says range 1. So in that case, I could spend energy to strife the other town. And then I don't have to do anything in this ravage, in which case it's already solved then. And that's beautiful. So that means I would do See What Happens in a different land. Thinking whether it would be H4 or H2. I mean, there's a lot of minor powers that don't do that much. But something that blights would probably be bad. Like, something that says add a blight, add a disease, add a strife, add a wilds, add a Dahan or something. 1 damage to Dahan. Blah, blah, blah. The works. So probably H4 is better. Let's see what this is. Well, no, we said we want energy, right? Okay, let's just take energy. That I am going to go up the energy track, all said. And I want to be within range of H2 in case I decide to do something there. So let's do H3. Gain energy. Do this. Yeah, let's gain energy and then reclaim cards. Yes, correct, John. Correct. All right, but we have the full effect of Let's See What Happens in case I get a really good minor power that I would rather have, I guess. I currently have no sacred site from which to target stem the flow of water. That is okay. We will create one. Also, we have a proliferation. Is it better to take the push 1 Dahan? I don't think so. I could get rid of this Dahan from the neighboring coastal city, but I don't have a plan for H2, and I don't know where I want that Dahan to go. So it's okay. Proliferate. Actually, before I proliferate, or do I? No, we're doing this, right? We're doing this. See what happens. Teeming rivers. If the land has no blight, add a beast. If target land has exactly 1 blight, remove it. Okay, we got more beasts. Yay! It's harder for us to lose now. Do I want this card? It is not moon. It is not fire. It is not air. It has a sun. It has an animal. And it adds beasts. But I think I want my cards. So I skip. Okay, and then I proliferate. Let's just go up the energy track because I'm silly, I guess. I don't know. I want to get to any number of energy because then we don't have to worry about energy anymore. No concern for sacred sites right now. None of my cards are secret sites. All of these cards are range 1. So I care more about being range 1 of everything. Proliferate is range 1 from their presence, so best visibility would be D6, and that's a safe place to go as that's a green land. Oh, right. That's a city build, so they're not building a city, they're 2 towns. Aha. Read the card. I do have a choice here. Let's take this one. Even though this has beasts, I kind of think it's safer. All right, so then the plan here, Strifey, incite the mob, damage, one of them pushes away. Let's not put you in H1, put you in H6. This land is now solved. And then unbelievable regrowth, I can't target that land. But I can grow here, create a sacred site. Now stem to flow works. Creeper's Tear. That land is still doing 8 damage, so I do have to block that somehow. If only there was a way to block it. If only. Click this button, grow here, and then just go up energy track on both my spirits. I guess no, I want to be able to play 2 cards on the reclaim turn or something. That's a jungle build next. I'm just gonna grow into H5. I feel like I can make a sacred site in D2 or H5 very easily. Like this turn I can do it in both lands. I have a field's choked. Whatever that does. Okay, so now what? So we were letting that Ravage happen, we're letting that Ravage happen, that Blights, or sorry, that's blocked, and that's blocked. Unless we get the event card that says ignore Strife, and then I'll be sad. Next turn is either mountains or wetlands. Cannot stop the town gather into H5, but I still have overenthusiastic arson. But it does add a blade if it hits fire. If it does hit fire, it deals 2 damage. Is it better to target D4 with that? No, it's not, as I would still have the Explorer in there, and that's 2 damage Explorer. These power cards are gonna hit the top threshold of let's see what happens. Maybe I forget one of those cards, even though they're both kind of nice. I do have a lot of energy. Am I gaining a power card? Let's gain a power card. Okay, there's no air on these cards. We're gonna get to the any, and then the fire comes soon. So the fire is kind of very minimal, unless I want to hit the 3 fire threshold over here. What about what these things say? After the next time invaders are destroyed in target land, add a beast, then 1 damage per beasts. More beasts? We could repeat fields choked with growth, and I can repeat unexpected tigers or something? Which would add beasts? Maybe? You heard blood draws predators. Why aren't you just clicking on that card right now, Logic? It does give me a son, a fire, and an animal. Is there a land that I can destroy something in that the beasts would do something? I guess Overenthusiastic Arson, we said, is maybe doing damage that could be superfluous, but if we do have Blood Draws Predators, it actually would do slightly more. The problem is, like, if I do Overenthusiastic Arson in D4, and I do Blood Draws Predators, I can put the Blood Draws down first, and I Overenthusiastic Arson, destroy the town. But if I don't get the fire card, I get a beast and I deal 1 damage, which kills / pushes the explorer, but it leaves the town in there. And then that land blights, and the blight destroys the beasts, and even though, like, it contributes to this. What about the other powers? Shadows of the Burning Forest. That's range 0. Nah, it's Blood Draws Predators. Figure out what I'm going to do with that, but it's Blood Draws Predators. Alright, let's keep going into range 1 things. This is range 2. Going into D1 is really good visibility to many lands. Not now. It'd be nice if there was beasts in a land with many things, but it's currently not the case. I guess we could Unexpected Tigers this turn, Blood Draws Predators next turn. We would have to get some sort of destruction. If I do these 2 cards, the any would have to be air for this to work, and then I don't have any of this. I could forget one of the cards in my discard. It would be nice to town destroy in a place where the extra effect could be nice, but there's not really a place for that. Maybe I just put Blight down so that in stage 3 I'm less likely to escalate. Let's just do this here. Card did not have fire. Okay, cool. Overgrow. Let's just put it here. Let's go up the energy track. Why not? And then also let's see what happens, I guess. Probably should have done that one first. H1 is still gonna gather a town from H2. H5 isn't. Do I target H5? The problem is if it adds a blight, that's sad. Risk it. See what happens. Animated Wreck Route. 1 fear, destroy an explorer, and add a wilds. this goes somewhere else, but not H2, as that would cause irreparable damage. Let's put an H7. I don't want to put double explorers down in case they do wetlands. Animated rack root. It's a moon and fire, but it's not air. It is, however, free. But I do like these two cards. This one puts Strife down. This one has Invader with Strife dealing damage to other invaders. But if I forget this card, I don't have to reclaim next turn, as I can just gain a power card and add presence, and just do that for a while. And just play the power card lottery. I guess I'm not reclaiming anyway, as I have Bloodtraw's Predators. I could forget Overenthusiastic Arson. It's not contributing anymore to elements outside of let's see what happens. Sure, let's forget Overenthusiastic Arson. It's fine to forget a unique power card, as there might be an event that lets us get it back. Ethereal Conjunction. A confluence of spiritual forces gathers into an unformed maelstrom. Each spirit chooses. Endure its forces as best as you can, destroy a presence and lose 1 energy. Seek to control it though it exhausts you. Choose any non-major power card of yours in hand, play, or discard. Put it into play without paying its cost. Use it immediately, even if already used this turn, and then forget it. Discard all power cards from hand. That's a lot of words. Irregular outbreaks. Disease doesn't prevent builds this invader phase. 1 fear per board with disease. 10 to the living earth. On each board with 5 or more Dahan, remove a blight and they land with Dahan. I too hate blowing up towns and fast for 1 energy. Yeah, why would I forget a card that destroys the town fast? Why would I do such a thing? What if I were to proliferate? Forgetting all or discarding all power cards from hand is slightly sad, but we could also just play Overgrow again. You could put Overgrow into play and use it immediately and then forget it. Which has what benefit? Gives me a plant. Sort of. I lose this plant, I guess. If I get to this plant, it doesn't give me any more thresholds. If I lose Overgrow, I lose... Well, I guess I gain the plant, but I lose a moon, but we're past... No, we're not past that. We still have that. Forgetting proliferate means that we proliferate Grinning Trickster. Which would be tragic, I guess. But it gives us a fire. That said, that fire doesn't do anything. But it does get us the 3 energy next turn. Although Trickster is also going to discard their hands, so they're going to reclaim next turn anyway, so we're not going to get an extra power card. But lots of energy means we could start taking majors early. I don't think there's a reason to just destroy a presence, even though we can put destroyed presence down very easily. I think it's better to use it for preventions. So let's proliferate, use it, fire. I think we're range 1 from everything now. But animated record is range 0. I mean, it's not a very good power. I just basically took it to gain energy, I guess. But why would I do a fast power that destroys a town when I could do a slow power that destroys an explorer except pushes it? Let's go into H1. I don't want to lose those powers again. The thing is, the H1 is gathering from H2, so I can't prevent that build. I guess I could have proliferated in a way that I destroy an explorer that does something slightly more meaningful, but not really many meaningful destroys. Let's just do that. It's fear. It gives us a fear card too, which is nice. This explorer has to push into H8, which is bad, H2, which is bad, H6, which could be bad if they explore wetlands, but slightly less bad. Disease doesn't prevent builds. That's allowing D2 to build. Okay. Remove Blight from a land with Dahan is happening in D5. Okay, cool. Trade suffers. Skip all build actions in lands with city. Ha! Ignore disease, but also skip build actions in the land with disease. That's cute. And we've destroyed that presence. And then these are forced. Do not prevent that build. Guess we can gather from the Blight land. Maybe that's a little better. Explore wetlands. Guess what? H6 is ravaging. Also, H7 didn't explore. Unexpected Tigers would stop the H7 build, although H6 also needs to be solved. Spread the beasts out, I guess. Is that better or worse than keeping them grouped up? I do not know. But that is no longer building. However, this is ravaging. That's a ravage. That's a ravage, that's a ravage. I mean, it's very easy for us to just block it. Unbelievable regrowth, for instance. So, like, these, we can just say, you're not doing it. Push a town or push 3 to Han. It certainly would be nice if we had a defend card. We also have a Creeper's Tear that is meaningless. So I will kick that town. We are gaining a power card this turn. It is in the realm of possibility that we get a defend card. Neither, I guess D2 has to hunt. I guess if we do get a defend card, and it's a really good defend, we would like to defend D2. Also gets rid of singletons. This pushes 3 to hunt. I guess we would push D5 into D2, and then it's not even that good. But it does get rid of 2 singleton Dahan lands. Stage 2 coming up, so they are going to add 2 explorers among lands with beasts. So I guess spreading out the beasts is probably a nice idea, so that the escalation is less bad, in theory. Pushing a town, is that meaningful? Does that do anything? Do we have range here? We do not. Let's just push this guy in D2 under the naive belief that we can defend that. And then this is now a reclaim on Grinning Trickster. If we could impersonate authority fast, that would be nice. Our only fast power is blood draws predators, and let's see what happens. And why don't you and them fight, maybe? Well, this one is always happening. You only have 3 power cards? Okay. Okay. Gather up to 1 Dahan. Then if Dahan are present, either defend 1 per Dahan, or after invaders are added or moved the target, add 1 damage to each added or moved invader. That's a nice counter to Habsburg's town movements. I guess it could also damage a pushed explorer, which then pushes again. That's amusing. But Call to Tend is better elements, removes blight, hits the unbelievable regrowth. But technically this is a defend card. It's not enough defend for D2, but it is a defend card. Is there a world where I click major power here? 6 energy? I already have moon and fire. If the major power is air, my any is air, I could still, let's see what happens. The main issue is that I just need a solution for H6. Like, and H1? Ugh. Solution to H1 is to strife the town. So I play 2 air cards. Impersonate authority and incite the mob. Okay. Those are my air cards, I guess. I'm clicking this one and you can't stop me. I guess we could just grow into H1 and then overgrow. Not hit the next 2 of Creeper's Tear. Also wetlands. I guess D3 might not build if I can get rid of that explorer somehow, but that's not happening right now. Let's just do this. I guess we could play Stem the Flow and actually kill a town with that, in theory. D3 would kill the town? Maybe I just do that then. Or no, that's not going to be a sacred site there after I block it. Okay. So, strife the town in H1, strife and explorer in H6. And then hope that, let's see what happens, does something else there. I do have to actually, oh, I'm in H1 right now, okay. That one is range 0. I looked at all my powers and said they're all range 1, except for why don't you and them fight? That's range 0. Would it make sense to take a fire? Probably not, because I can't strife the explorer and then have the Dahan damage it. I mean, if I do that, I guess I could sacrifice a Dahan, which would be sad. But the Dahan would kill the explorer and then the land doesn't ravage. But I would still prefer to strife H1. And I can't really do both. I guess I could have done both if I got to 3 card plays. What are elements? Let's move this guy into this wetlands, I guess. I don't know. I do need to be range 0 of more lands. Let's do H2, I guess. So if I play these and my any is air, then I put a strife down. We still can see what happens and blah, blah, blah. I can see what happens first into H6 and then use that to decide whether I want to strife the town or not, I guess. Veil the Knight's Hunt. For each Dahan present, choose a different invader, 1 damage each of those invaders, and push 3 Dahan. Well, honestly, that's the best scenario, right? Like, this no longer builds. And it's not going to gather a town, so all of these builds are solved. Cool. All right, cool. I kind of like this card. So we have the innate fire, so the moon and the animal gets some thresholds, but it... Which one am I forgetting, then? Unexpected Tigers? I guess that Blooddraws Predators combos with Veil the Knight's Hunt. We will add a Beasts after Dahan damaged invaders. This is very hard to get to add Beasts. Okay, so now that's no longer, like, it's still building, I guess, but it's no longer ravaging. So we can safely put an air down and then strife this city. H6 still has the Explorer. I think I could just probably block this Ravage and be okay with that. Terror spikes upwards. If you have any earned fear cards, resolve the first one now as if the terror level were 1 higher, then discard it. Otherwise, 1 fear per player. Interesting. Secure settled territory. On each board in the land with Badlands, Beasts, and Building, destroy a Badlands Beast. 1 damage to Dahan, 1 damage. War among the Dahan. On each board in the land with most Dahan, minimum 2, push half the Dahan round down. Wow, lots of things. We do not have a fear card, so that's 2 fear. A land with Badlands, which you do not have, Beasts, and Buildings, which we do not have. And in the land, on each board in the land with the most Dahan, push half the Dahan round down. Badlands, Beasts, Bears, Battlestar Galactica. Wait, what are you doing? Michael! Oh, that's cute. Michael! So let's see. Board D is a 3-way tie. Port H is H1. Just trying to think if there's any reason to push these a certain way. I guess putting it to Han in the H6, we can impersonate the town, put a strife down, and then incite the mob so the town damages the explorer, and then that land is solved and has a Dahan in it so the ravage kills the town. Kind of would be better to do that over in board D, though. I could strife the city, pay an energy to strife the town in D1, and then impersonate authority. D2 would be a better place for that, but D1 would be probably slightly better just to move that explorer out. Yeah, Veil the Knight's Hunt. Oh, we do have a push to Han from other lands coming up, so I can get to Han into H6 without doing anything else, but... Let's push one Dahan into here. Let's push one Dahan in here. This Ravage is fine. And then... Nope. And then... Nope. And wetlands. And then they gather... They gather this town, they don't gather into D3? Or do they gather on board H because there's no buildings? Wetlands again? Sure, why not? I do not want to put 3 explorers here, but I also don't want to put 3 explorers there. I don't know. Don't want to put 3 explorers here. Okay. A lot of explorers in D3. A lot of explorers in D1. Double wetlands on board D is super duper favorite. Double D duper. D's nuts. Wait. So I could strife both towns in D1 and then incite the mob D1. It's just one invader with strife, so one town damaging 2 explorers, which kills 1 explorer, push the other explorer out, and then both of those are strifed. I feel like that is the best thing to do. Then incite the mob. You can go there. Probably going to need to block this. And that's just gonna keep getting blocked repeatedly. And then they're building again. Get out of there. I mean, you're gonna go back though is the problem, but at least they're not building a coastal city. Is their dominance? I really want to click major, but I'm also at 4 power cards. I'm sitting on 6 energy, -2 with Grinning Trickster. Also, this is a Ravage, and it's a Blight. This is a Ravage. This is a Ravage. This is solved-ish. I guess the town we pushed out from D3 is gonna just end up in D1, actually. Presently, I cannot put the strife down with why don't you and them fight. I can Veil the Night's Hunt. I will get the push to Han thing. It can go into H6. Blood Draws Predators and Veil the Night's Hunt. Town. No. 2 to Han. I guess 2 to Han. It's different invaders, right? So it's I damage the town, push an explorer, add a beasts, and the beasts kills the town, and then I'm left with 1 explorer in H6. But in theory, that's okay, because even if it blights and whatever it does to kill a beast, which is slightly bad, but the Dahan kills the explorer, and then there's no Ravage there next turn. And more claws, except, well, hunters swarm the island. This presence has to go in H7, right? I mean, I then also have to put this presence down into H7. I could you and them fight H7 and maybe that explorer gets pushed out, or there's a defend or something. Should be nice if this gathered a beasts, because currently I'm losing. I put this explorer here in the. No, I didn't. That was from. Okay, no, the explorer put that there, not the escalation. I'm not that stupid. Let's just take that back. You don't have much energy, Green, so it's I could take a power card and 3 energy. It would still be 5 energy. That's a lot of energy, but I feel like I would rather gain a minor. Is there a world where I reclaim cards instead and I take Overgrow? And that blocks H7? It feels like the reclaim is more useful than 3 energy, weirdly. I feel like I'm clicking minor with Grinning Trickster. I feel like I do minor this turn, major next turn. And I can still play 3 cards next turn if I forget the power card to gain the just use power card to hand. I would have to forget one of these, which would be sad, but I think I'm going to do minor. Defend 5. The question is, should I have clicked green first? As these are not really good elements, but It doesn't really matter. I don't think I'm playing it this turn, even though there is a defend card there. The air makes that have plus range, so maybe I click that. I don't think the others are really going to do that much. Let's take defend. Defend is nice. If we're doing these two powers, feels like the air or the fire would be better. I think I grow into H6. Because then... Oh. I could take I could take an animal, and then the beast that's an H6 pushes the explorer out. That's probably better than the Dahan kills / pushes the explorer, but the explorer kills the Dahan. So I think I do that. Although the downside of that is that I don't have... Let's see what happens. Probably okay if I do this. Even though I said that's weird, but if I overgrow into H7, then... That's fine. So that's fine. That's fine. We're just blocking builds and ravages or something. I don't know. Land without explorers? Could it gather H7 into H5? Entrancing apparitions? That's slightly better as it gives me a water. Call of the Dahan Ways, except it's slow. Let's take Entrancing Apparitions. That means I don't have to overgrow. I could just gather into H5, and then they don't build it. They don't build there. Can't gather a town. They don't build there. And they don't gather a town. So then the only issues left are D1 and D3. Well, D1 is gathering a town. But we do have this defend at least. And then D3 is building, and if I gather from D2 again, it's not gathering that town. Okay, so... So what's my solution for D3? I don't need to target any terrain with this. Most likely it's going to be a wetlands. So I just need a plant, and that's any card. A moon plant, and I can destroy a town. So I overgrow anyway. So I overgrow into D3. Block the ravage, let the build happen, destroy the town, and then next turn I block the ravage. And we're just having this ever-growing explorer problem that we hope to solve someday. As they're going to keep putting explorers in D3. I'm surely not going to click D8. If I can't do that. Okay. We need to find a way to solve explorers, like, today. Alright, blood draws predators first. Fail the knight's hunt. Damage for each. Push that explorer. Not into H8. That would ravage. Not into H5 as we're gathering 2 explorers there already. Probably H2. It's weird. And then... Wait, oh, I didn't actually destroy something? Oh, poop. Oh, but that's okay. I guess the order of this is fine. I could actually destroy the explorer. And then that adds the beasts. And now there's a beast in there. I deal 2 damage. Okay. And then entrancing apparitions here. Gather this explorer. Gather from a beast's land, probably. And then get more presents in there. We're running out of presents on my track is the problem, but we can forget Overgrow next, I guess. We can gain a major and forget Overgrow, probably. Okay. Invaders surge inland on a coastal land on each board. Push a town 1 or 2 lands inland. Move a town 1 or 2 lands inland, that is. Grim Toll on each board. Choose a land with disease. In that land, 2 damage to invaders and 2 damage to Dahan. Canny defense during ravage. In every land, defend 1 per Dahan in the land. Okay. So, there's no coastal town on board H, so it's literally just board D. I want these towns to stay, so it's going to be this one. Fair Wish does count it as 2 lands inland, but whatever. The disease in D2 is going to kill a Dahan, but it will also kill an explorer and push an explorer, I guess. Let's just move this town. Oh, I guess this is not 2 lands inland. Okay, whatever. The inland rules are so confusing. I mean, I understand it, but it's still confusing. Actually, I guess... This is going to be defended. Yeah? So this explorer will not die, but will generate more fear. We have 1 fear card. Avoid the Dahan. Skip all explorer actions and lands that leads to Dahan. Well, that's not really that helpful. I forgot to actually go over the fear card distribution. I'm just thinking of this now. The way that fear cards work with dual adversaries is that you consider the net change in fear cards for each terror level. So like Russia 3 is 443, which is essentially +1, +1, and 0. And then Habsburg 2 is 452, which is +1, +2, and -1. So that means that stage 1 or terror level 1 is +2, terror level 2 is +3, and terror level 3 is -1. So 5 cards on terror level 1, 6 cards on terror level 2, 2 cards on terror level 3. So that's the math. Okay, so anyway, this ravage is solved. And then block that ravage. I want to allow that build because I'm just going to kill the town. You can gather this town. And then Sands Explorer. Sorry, 1 sec. Okay, so explorers and lands with beasts on this board, it's just gonna be D3, and we're gonna figure out what the crap to do there. I could probably put both in H6 and just defend it. I mean, I was planning on defending D1, but maybe I'll just be able to add Strife. This doesn't have air, though. Also, I was thinking I was getting a minor power with this, but then I didn't, so I'm only playing 2 cards next turn. Unless I reclaim all instead of gaining a power card, but I would really like to gain a power card, you know? But I will play 3 cards. This probably, but Major's probably better. I guess green could block it if all else fails. Also, H2 is ravaging now. Let's kill this town. And now I do have to be mindful of that, which is not ideal, actually. Unbelievable regrowth, just do it here. So Ravage, I mean, that's a check mark. We're gonna let it do a thing. That's defended if all else fails. Not sure about that. That's a build, that's a build, that's a build. I think I gained Major with green, right? Like, Overgrow is gonna stop working, so might as well just do it. Trees radiate celestial brilliance. Jungle or land without blight. Sun, moon, plant. That's enough defend for H6. I cannot target H2 with it as it specifically targets the land without blight. Could take Cleansing Floods. Although I don't have any innate water. So I can't get to the 4 water. Don't have air for Bombard with Boulders and Stinging Seeds. Don't have moon for Fragments of Yesteryear. Also don't have energy for Fragments of Yesteryear. It's probably just Trees Radiate Celestial Brilliance. Forget Overgrow. And then we don't have a solution for H2 yet. Feels like we're just gonna keep putting presents in D3 until we solve the D3 problem. But assume that I play that. I am in D7, so stem the flow. Would really be nice if I had more moons, to be fair. And with Dahan Blight removal. Not really many places for that. I guess just Fields Choked, and now I can target any terrain with Unbelievable Regrowth, so I can put 2 Destroyed Presence in, like, H2. Alright, this is Major. Low like water, reach like air. All these are slow except for that one. You can easily hit the threshold in it. I guess the downside is that I'm not gonna... Well, I guess I will... If I pick air, I do get to see what happens, which pretty much I have to do. If I click Vanish Softly Away, I can... I could forget a power card to gain the just used power card thing. Okay, so the reason that I want to... The reason I want to flow like water is to prevent the H2 ravage. My other option for solving H2 would be the trees radiate, but it wouldn't preserve the strife that's there. This brings 2 explorers. It's a bit silly to try to think that H6 is a viable option for this. There's no Dahan in H2. I can move the Blight, which is also cool. But like, this wetlands isn't gonna ravage after this next round, right? If this is defended and I gather the city and 2 explorers, I guess defend 6 isn't enough for that, so I would only gather 1 explorer. I can gather the Blight. This land will have 3 explorers is the only downside with that plan. Because I could kill the city with the 2 Dahan. Actually, no, the explorers don't have +L, so I can push 1 explorer out. And then we can just worry about H2 next turn, which we will we will reclaim next turn, and then we could just flow like water again, I guess. Remove all damaged invaders is interesting if I was in D... Or I don't have to be in D7, but we could stem the flow to damage all buildings. And then remove all damaged buildings in D7. Which is interesting. But... I'm just gonna click this and you can't stop me. Let's forget... This is an easy threshold to hit. I still like these cards. Maybe Veil is past its prime. Oh, actually, I can push Dahan into H6. Might as well do that now. I'm already in H2, so I can just flow like water from there. I'm not gonna get this by any stretch of the imagination, right? Let's see. This is Sands. I think I just want to stay in H2, honestly. And I'm not getting any of these, so this is absolutely air, so I can see what happens. So this is solved. Sap the strength D1. Trees radiate H6. It does skip the next build action, which is an effect we aren't really getting any benefit from, but whatever. And then next turn, I have to figure out D7, D4, H8. I mean, we have 2 destroyed presence placements. It's probably okay. See what happens, H8, I guess. Tormenting Rotflies. Add a disease. And if target land has invaders, 2 fear. If disease is present, 1 fear. If blight is present, 1 fear. Okay, so they're not building. Cool. I do have this threshold, right? I should have checked that I did. That's kind of important. This. Push from here. Gather that. Gather that. Gather 1 of those. Trees radiate. Oh, but I just put blight in there. I have to do this first. Then I can move this out. So this is defended, right? And everything in there dies except one explorer pushes out, but that's okay. Sap the strength there. And that should be good. Before I commit to that, let's just double check. The only blight is D3. Yeah, okay. All right, invader phase. Cities rise on each board. In the land with the most cities, replace two cities with two, or sorry, in the land with the most towns, replace two towns with two cities. Rude. Beasts chase off homesteaders. On each board, push up to 2 explorers or 1 town from a land with beasts. Careful defense when invaders ravage. If the land has Dahan, defend 2. Okay. So it's only affecting board D. There's no towns on board H. Weird. Somehow we've completely gotten rid of all the towns on board H. Meanwhile, board D is town city. That is affecting D7, yeah? And then 2 explorers or a town from a land with beasts. I mean, all the beasts in here would kind of be nice to whittle that down, but getting rid of these 2 explorers into D1, because that's defended, is better? Yeah, because it is 6 damage, but it's defend 5, yeah? Yeah. And then, oh, it's also going to be defend 2. And this has another defend 2 as well. So I can, in fact, prevent this build. And I can't push into H7 as that's a blight, so it has to be H1. Alright, fear card. Belief takes root. Lands with presence have defend 2. Okay, I could have put that explorer in there. We have so much defend in here now. Allow this ravage. I guess I didn't have enough to Han. Don't go into H8. And you can't go... I guess this land is decidedly not ravaging, right? So I can't just do this. Okay. This land ravages. This explorer, you can go into D2. And then do not let that ravage. Build, build, build. And then town gathers. And then coastal explorer, which means there's no escalation. And now what? D4 is an issue. Just push the town out. D2 is ravaging now. Unbelievable regrowth, I think, is happening here still. Creeper's Tear and Stem the Flow is killing a town somewhere. Other than the fact that this is an 8 damage Ravage, D4 is actually okay as it can cascade into D5. Nothing's happening in D5. So if I just push the town out, we don't have that issue. Still need to figure out D3, by the way. If I could somehow have 3 sun, then Trees Radiate would deal damage. And that could get rid of some of those explorers. I guess you're reclaiming. I mean, other than the fact that, I mean, this could blight as well, right? This is the last stage 2 card, so we're gonna start getting Prussia, not Prussia, Habsburg escalations. So if a board has 2 or fewer blight, it escalates twice. And we've been so good at this game that we only have 3 blight on the board. So getting some blight this turn is actually okay. That said, I don't really want to blight a coastal land. Alright, so I think then... I mean, like, this is ravaging for years. Probably just putting a town in D3 is, like, it's already ravaging. It's not gonna stop ravaging. We're just gonna keep putting destroyed presence in there or something. So we're gonna let that blow up. That's fine. This is blocked. That's fine. That's not even ravaging. So we have builds that I can't really deal with, per se, but this is a ravage, and that's a ravage. I would like to solve both of those. I mean, we are reclaiming, so, like, defend 6 is back on the table. Defend 5, rather. I guess I'm just going to kill the town in D3 that I just added, as there's not really any other good target. Okay. How close are we to Terror level 2? 3 fear. Okay, should be easy. Alright, I'm gonna reclaim, as I feel like that's better than 3 energy right now. I'm looking for a sun card. I think I'm just gonna click minor. There's so few power cards we have right now. Enticing Splendor is interesting. So we need Sun, Moon, Plant. We need to play pretty much all of our Sun cards if I want to hit this threshold. We're getting to 4 cards, right? Yeah. Okay. So the option to get that to happen is Enticing Splendor and Reaching Grasp. I would also have to play a moon card, so Entrancing Apparitions as well, because that's the only other moon card I have. Okay, so... Enticing Splendor gathers an Explorer from D2 into D3, which is kind of slightly meaningless, but then Trees Radiate with Threshold, defends 6, and kills 3 Explorers. And that's still not enough damage. That's still not enough defend for D3. Does it actually make more sense to gather 3 Dahan into D2, or gather 2 Dahan into D2, defend 6, 3 damage, I was thinking that I'm just going to kill the 3 Explorers, but actually if I let that Ravage go, I kill the city, generates 2 fear. Trees Radiant gives me Terror level 2 anyway, so I don't care about fear. But I kill the city, and then D2 Ravages, but there's defense 6 in there, which is enough for the 3 explorers dealing 2 damage each, because 3 times 2 is 6, hashtag math. And the Dahan kills all the explorers -1. The only downside is it still gathers a town from D4. I do kind of like that plan, though. And this is the last presence I can add, because I don't have the passive that allows me to put destroyed presence with growth. So this is the last add of the game. This is range 0 or no? Aberration is range 1. I could gather D1 into D5, but that's meaningless. Anyway, I guess I'm just gonna put it in D3 and just like that one meme where the neighbor says that, or they notice the neighbor keeps buying cats, and you ask why they're buying cats, and they say that there's a predator out there that keeps killing their cats, and then you say, that sounds like you're just feeding cats that predator, and then the child cries. I think I'm just feeding presents to the explorers in D3. I think that's what this game is. D3 is just a present sink. It's okay, we're slowly figuring it out. I have to play these cards. These are literally the cards I have to play this round. I do get a Creeper's Tear that deals 2 damage. I have an unbelievable regrowth that's putting 2 destroyed presence in any terrain, but it's probably going to be D3 still. So Enticing Splendor D2. Trees Radiate D2. With Threshold, yeah? Yep. I have an Entrancing Apparitions. I could gather and explore out from D1, but it doesn't matter. It's still gathering a town from D7. Anyway, this is Reclaim here. Yeah. I assume that there is a you and them fight thing going on, maybe, on board H. I mean, I'm flowing like water, maybe? I mean, H2 is ravaging and building and blah, blah, blah. I don't think I can really prevent all of that, but... like, I have a defend 5. But that's not enough for H2 right now. I mean, I guess Blood Draws Predators, Sap the Strength. That's 2 animals, a 3rd animal. Oh, but there's no beasts in that land. It'd be a nice combo, though. Add a beasts, damage per beasts, and then 2 beasts with the beasts that's in there. I guess... I mean, I'm at 3 card plays right now. I guess in theory, we could have an Invader and Dahan damage each other, which would trigger the destruction thing, so then Blood Draws Predators goes off. And then target land has beasts, right? Is that the order of operations, or do I have to fully resolve why don't you and them fight? That's one action, right? I mean, I'm probably just gonna see what happens in H2. There is a possibility that it puts a blight down, so I guess I want to be in there. I guess I'm growing anyway. I'm just gonna be in D2. Focus on the coast right now. I guess an issue with this is that I don't have enough air. Like, if I click this, I would need an air to hit this threshold, which isn't super important for H2 at all. There's no cities or blight in there. But I also don't get to see what happens. Or no, I will see what happens, but I don't I don't get to hit any of these other effects. Like, the best card here would be Incite the Mob. Which is weird, as there's no strifed buildings, so I'm literally playing that for elements. Is there a world where I'm not Blood Draws Predatoring? I mean, this needs to be... Oh, I'm not even... Oh, but yeah, no, I get the error and I get it. This needs to be something that destroys something in H2 that procs Blood Draws Predators. I guess, no, that's not true. Because I still push it to Han. I can push from here. This is why over-enthusiastic arson is never your first forget. You know... I only have 5 power cards, otherwise that would not be as relevant. But I will admit that is a valid point. Does defend lower the damage to each other? That's something that I've never actually figured. I feel like it shouldn't. I feel like that should bypass defend, yeah? Spirit Island, why don't you and them fight? If the invaders are damaging to Han, defend works. Aha, okay. Interesting. So if the land is defend, the invader deals less damage to the Dahan. So I could Entrancing Apparitions H2, which is a bit silly, but I do that for a defend 2, and then the Dahan doesn't actually die. And it's also ravaging. Actually, I don't need Entrancing Apparitions. Duh, we already have this. That was going in H2, right? That was the plan all along. So then Blood Draw Spreader, Sap the Strength, blah, blah, blah. And then Town and Dahan damage each other. Town dies. Add a beasts. Damage per beasts. Kills an explorer. And then the land has beasts, so we deal 2 damage, which kills the other 2 explorers, / pushes 2 of them out. Which then means that there's no build in H2. Okay, I'll put a check mark there. We are getting close to, like, having 3 explorers in, like, adjacent lands, but... At least we turned this from being a terrible land with a city and blight to an empty land. And then this is going to sort of be solved, asterisk. And then that's still building despite my best efforts. And then that's... That land exists. That land exists. Okay, I think I'm satisfied right now. So I guess the only other question is then... Oh, but we're doing that in H2. Right, okay. Oh, but... Right. We have this. Right, that's the thing. Okay. Air. So where am I seeing what happens? Maybe H3? Maybe we kill that explorer at H3 and then they don't build there? Do I want to forget a power card to gain it to hand? I guess if I'm gonna forget a power card, I should use up all my powers before I do that. Okay, so let's sap the strength. Blood draws predators. You and them fight. Oh, damn it! No, why are you doing the action thing? No. That's okay. I mean, it's not actually an issue whatsoever. Actually, I guess that's still kind of it's kind of okay. I mean, it's still gonna like ravage, but it's defended, whatever. But we added a beasts. We gathered the beasts because it finished the power, right? Because this is the action that was what I was. That's what we were talking about. But then now there was a beast in there, so then we did 2 damage for the beasts. So we did slightly more damage with that. We didn't do the 2 damage here, but we did do 2 damage here. So like it's only -1 damage. But I mean it doesn't really matter because this land ravages and then it's defended. It's fine. Okay. Now I see what happens here. Because I can forget sap the strength now. It's honestly kind of useless. I mean, it's a defend card is really the only reason why I have it. Rain of Blood. 2 fear. And then nothing else because there's no buildings in that land. Blood Draws Predators is good anytime you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, that's a good card. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then you're a bad player. This is the same elements and energy as Blood Draws Predators, except it's an air. It doesn't defend, but like whatever. I forget that. I'm now at 6+3 energy. If I don't click major next turn, something's wrong with me. Okay. Then it was Trees Radiate here. Does that go off first? Doesn't matter, right? Then I'm going to gather. I just need 1 Dahan. I'm gonna leave 2 in there. Entrancing Apparitions is decidedly one of the cards. I guess I could... Oh, but there is still an Explorer in H2. Man, if that thing worked the way that I wanted it to work, which is against the rules of the game, so whatever, I could have gathered 2 Explorers into H2. But it didn't. There's no neighboring empty land to H3. There's no neighboring empty land to H2. There is an empty land in H8. But this is just defend 2, which is not enough. I could just gather 1 Explorer, and then it ravages, and then, like, I get 1 fear from pushing that Explorer out, which is cute. In any case, so we're letting that cascade happen. That's fine. We're blocking this ravage. Where's the other blight? Here. We're blocking that ravage as well. The important thing is that the 1 ravage we are doing is not irreparable damage. Let's go ahead and be silly. There's also a non-zero chance that we get extra defend here or something, but let's just be safe because I do not want that to actually kill the beasts in there. All right, event card. Tight-knit communities. For the rest of this turn, buildings have +1 health. Prey on the unwary. Each beast destroys an explorer. Add a beast to a board without one. Coming of age. On each board, add a Dahan to a coastal land with Dahan. Buildings of +1 health is barely relevant. There's not that many buildings left. The problem is that they're all centralized in D7, but whatever. Also, this... Well, I guess we could just kind of... I don't really want that beast to do whatever. That's actually slightly problematic here. There's going to be a lot of explorer pushing, is the long and short of this. I can't push you into D2? Can I push you into D2? Oh, I guess I can. No, I can't. The issue is that there's too much damage in D2. Again, we could hope that the fear cards give me extra defend, but... I can't put you in D4 because that's a irreparable damage. D2 is a risk, so it has to be H4. I guess we're just gonna daisy chain this explorer. The annoying thing is that this explorer, well, I guess he was dying to the ravage anyway. We're just getting the fear early, is the way to think about that. This causes a ravage. This causes a ravage. There's going to be explorers pushing all the way around to here, so you have to go here, actually. This explorer goes here. This explorer goes here. This explorer goes here. That gave me like 5 fear. And then add Dahan to a coastal land with Dahan. So now there's nothing happening here, right? There's no ravage there. They don't have a town together. So I'm going to add this Dahan here. And then probably here as well. I don't know. I think those choices weren't necessarily like that important. Flee from dangerous lands. On each board, remove an explorer town from a land with badlands, wilds, Dahan. Remove trumps. Destroy. It's only one on each board, though. Remove trumps Russia. Yes. I guess I could stop a coastal build here. It still gathers a town, but it doesn't build. So it's one less town and an explorer that I have to deal with. And the remaining cards in here are what? Jungle, wetlands, mountains? No, wetlands here. I misread this. It's jungle, mountains. So it's a 50-50 which one they're going to then explore. Okay, cool. So this is a little less impactful. Let's do it from H3. I feel like that's less easy to deal with for some reason. Distracted by local troubles. Invaders do -1 damage per damage they have taken. On each board, in a land matching a ravage card, 1 damage each to up to 2 invaders. That's a lot of text. In a land matching a ravage card. Note that D2 and D3 are lighting up here because technically ravage cards also match lands with 3 more explorers. I guess it's going to be D3. I don't see how D7 or D4 would be relevant. D2's dying anyway. If we somehow... I guess there's one more fear card, actually. Ooh, there is one more fear card. We could kill 2 explorers in D4 and then hope that that Ravage doesn't happen, but we don't care about that Ravage. Like, we want that to happen so that we don't have an extra escalation. So let's just damage 2 explorers. 1 actually dies, the other doesn't. D2 is a bad choice, so this goes to H4. And then literally forced to do this? I guess I don't have to. Up to 2 explorers. It is a fear, so might as well. You have to go to H7, otherwise H1 ravages. Depopulation on each board, remove a town. We could have stopped the D4 ravage then. There's no towns on this board. Rude. Let's just get rid of this town. Sans ravage. Block this. This doesn't go, or it does go off. Cascades intentionally. You know, I was so nice about letting H5 not, or H2 not ravage that now this board is gonna escalate twice. Rude. Alright, jungles. Oh, it's not, right, it's not, alright. We're still on this space. Alright, go into that land. Go into that land. There is no strife. Push town, push 3 to Hun, 2 damage to buildings, which is now irrelevant. Add 2 destroyed presence. Let's just... let's just not deal with this land. Just don't. Just don't. And then just keep making that super stack, I guess. And then assert dominance on this building. Okay. Well, now I'm clicking major. Their presence may count as badlands and beasts. I can play my hand. So what would that do? If I play my hand right now and I play this, I would have 2 moon, I'd have 3 air, 1 sun, 2 fire, 3 animal. So I'd have to decide with another moon, which is kind of silly. A fire to make Invader Dahan deal damage to each other, and also the target land is beasts, blah blah blah. Yeah, sure. Also, my presence counts as badlands and beasts, so my presence is itself a beast's presence and a badlands. There's also Twisted Flowers. Add Strife, which is meaningful as I could spend an energy to put Strife in an adjacent land. Bear in mind that that is one of my effects that I've not really been using a lot this game. I think we used it a lot 2 weeks ago, but we were also playing with Wandering Voice, so Strife was like super strong. I feel like it has to be this. And I mean, I can't click Blood Draws Predators, right? Someone's gonna yell at me. So I feel like we're just gonna solve H1. And then we're gonna figure out the rest soon. Like, this is absolutely a fire, but I'll just wait on that. We're also pushing a Dahan, which I guess that's meaningful. Reclaim trees radiate again. Just keep clicking that card. We could trees radiate into H3 and that solves that land. Although I kind of want a Ravage to happen somewhere, don't I? What Ravage can I do? I guess I could vacate everything from H3 with Flow Like Water. The only downside to that is that I can't really vacate the Explorer into anything other than H2. Oh, but I want... Oh, right, no, I could just vacate the Dahan. Okay. Leave the town and Explorer there. Vacate the Dahan. Let that Ravage happen. The importance of that is that then board H has 3 Blight, and we don't have double escalation on board H. This is the turn where we're getting this escalation. So we're gonna add towns to land without towns or Blight. And there's not that many towns, and not that many Blight either. But certainly having that go off twice is less good, right? Especially when we're going into stage 3. We are 5 cards away from Terra level 3. That is 42 fear. Okay, so then I guess if we're gonna probably just deal with H1 with our you and them fight. That's okay. Reclaim all, and we could just play the same cards. Costs 4 energy. We're going to eventually lose energy, but we could maybe what? I don't know. Guess I could gather the Explorer from D2 to D3. Or gather it into D1 because Entrancing Apparitions exists. That's slightly better, as I could then just gather 2 Dahan from D2 into D3, and then Trees Radiate to defend it and deal 3 damage. The problem with that, though, that's 14 damage. So, like, defense 3 is not, or defense 6 puts that down to 8. Obviously, that's not really enough, but I'm also dealing 3 damage, which kills 3 Explorers, which is minus 6 damage, and it's still 2 damage. The hope is that we would then have something from the event or something, but... Oh, but if my presence counts as Badlands, then it's actually plus 1 damage. Huh. The only issue, though, at that point is that I can't move the extra explorer into a land that I can actually do something in. Like, I could push that explorer into D2 and then entrancing apparitions to gather both explorers from D2 into D1 and just accept that that will ravage. That will flip the blight card, though. I don't have this threshold, right? Does it make sense to take that threshold instead of the fire? I could just damage the 2 explorers in D1, but then that also seems foolish. Don't forget, lets you and them plus settle. Oh, I mean, yeah, obviously, let's see what happens. Unless you're saying why don't you and them plus settle, but this was gonna go into H1 is the thing, right? I'm pretty sure. Strife the town. My presence counts as beasts. 4 damage, which is like killed 3 explorers, -1 that pushes somewhere. Although there's not a good place for that explorer to go either. My god, we're running out of places for explorers to go. I guess he can go into H6 and we block that ravage, which is also really silly. I'm just gonna click this and gain minor, and then we'll see what this is. Haunted Embers. There we go. Everything is solved. Encompassing Ward, Absorb Corruption. Both of them give me a sun. But I still need to get a moon. Is the only downside. Don't really want to do blight removal. Would defend 2 be enough? Play that instead of Fields Choked? Great work! All of your presence is in play. Thank you. That's probably enough. Because now I do Encompassing Ward and there's a Defend 2 in D2. And then I can Entrancing Apparitions here, gather this Explorer. Thunder to gather 2 Dahan. Trees radiate. Damage 3 explorers. One of them pushes away. So now this land is actually defended for the first time ever. And Dahan will counterattack, so we kill a town and 2 explorers. Settle first. Let's move this. Let's go in here. Move these Dahan. Leave those there. Because we want this to ravage. Now I settle. And actually I can... 2 damage one of my lands. Do I actually want to do this now that D1's defended? Do this somewhere else? Kind of wish that I was closer to D7. Oh, but I have plus range, right? Oh, but I'm not in D7, so I don't have my Badlands and Beasts and all that. So, like, this is range 2 now. I can do this anywhere, but... it would really be nice if it was in my land. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. What element am I gaining? If I gain a plant, then I can do damage here, but if I gain a fire, then Dahan can damage things? It's probably fine to put this Explorer in H2, though, because I can just strife the Explorer for an energy, which is weird. Okay, so let's take the plant... damage here. No? No, don't damage there. No. Because I need to see what happens there. So now where am I doing this damage? I mean, D3? I moved all the Dahan out from D2, so I don't want to push an Explorer in there. Although I actually am still putting an Explorer there with trees radiate. I guess I'm just gonna do H6. X need to gain my element again. D6 rather. That will ravage. You can go there. Okay, now we trees radiate. Fight here. Buttons. Strife the town. Oh, yeah, we just do this. Push this Explorer. And now I get the prompt to spend energy, and I'll strife this Explorer. Okay. Only one Blight. So let's just see if I can get rid of this Explorer. The target land has Badlands, 1 damage. Add Badlands. Guess what? My presence is Badlands. Haha. Wish I could put you there. I can't forget the thing. I can't forget the thing. I can't forget blood draws predators. Alright, heavy farming. During the next normal ravage, each town does +1 damage. Prey on the wary. Each beast destroys an explorer. Add beasts to a board without one. Coming of age. On each board, add Dahan to a jungle or wetland with Dahan. So. Fear party? Did I just hit choose for me somewhere? What am I doing? Oh, this guy? I already clicked from there, right? Fear party! I guess that rabbit is... Oh, but it's defended. Okay, it's fine. On each board, add Dahan to a jungle or wetland with Dahan. Do it here, because I think that Dahan's dying because of all the badlands in there. Do it here. Alright, 3 fear cards. Dahan threaten. Each player adds strife and a land with Dahan. For the rest of this turn, invaders have -1 health per strife to a minimum of 1. Kill city. Why not? Still want H3 to happen. Nothing else is happening. Jungles. I guess that build is technically a thing. I'm just gonna strife cities. Whatever. Dahan and Heartened. Each player chooses a different land, and each gather up to 2 Dahan, 1 damage if Dahan are present. Plus Badlands presence. Orgasm Eternal is like, you know, there's Badlands all around. But, I wish I had Badlands in there. Probably still just gather 2. It's fine. Oh, and then this explorer pushes out for fun, I guess. Go there, I guess. I'm gonna gather 1 Dahan. I'm going to damage the city. It seems silly, but trust me on this. Mimic the Dahan. Each player places an explorer town with Dahan and a land with 2 or more Dahan. Call the Dahan ways. Okay. So Ravage. Ravage. That now builds, I guess, is the downs. Actually, no, I don't have to let that build. The land was chosen. The lands were chosen to Ravage at the start of the turn. So we can safely put this somewhere else. And now won't ravage. That blades is expected. That doesn't need to happen. It's defended. Go there. Allow the build because the town's gathering anyway. Oh, I guess it wasn't actually. It's okay. Jungle and Sands. And now we add a town to a land without towns or blight. Now this wetland party is dispersed. Success. So right there, I guess. So we do have the problem where H4 is ravaging, D7 is ravaging. Also, that's a ravage, that's a ravage, that's a ravage, and also the jungles are building as well. That's a ravage as well. But, let's see, 2 buildings for extra fear absolutely goes there. Impersonate authority to add a strife and spend energy to add strife elsewhere. So buildings have -1 health per strife they have to a minimum of 1, and there's only 2 cities left on the board. So I strife this city, which puts it at a super minus. I strife this town. Reaper's Tear deals 2 damage. There's no strife. There's no Badlands in there, but I can repeat it. Kill both cities. 4 fear, and we win the game. And I can put 2 destroyed presence on any land that I want. This one. And all I need to do is get 4 fear somehow. Somehow. Some way. Somehow. So good game. both teams fought hard. Can I make my presence count as Badlands and Beasts twice? This would be fun. Literally doesn't matter. We win. We win. We win. Good game. Sharp Fangs would have murdered babies to get those power draws. Oh, man. Yeah, if only we could generate fear. If only. Oh, hey, we won. Shocked. We didn't even blight the island. Game is too easy. The invaders are deeply afraid, and no cities remain to turn to for refuge. The remaining populace swiftly evacuate the island. We got 68 points. 10 for victory, 45 for difficulty 9, 8 for the 4 remaining invader cards, 8 for the 17 surviving Dahan, and -3 for the 6 blight. And we had 2 fear cards at Terror level 3, and probably could have gotten those 2 as well. Maybe, I don't know. We still had see what happens and you and them fight, and then some other random crap to do, so. But that was fun. We somehow managed to win despite there being like 7 explorers in D3, but I think that was a pretty fun game. Having to think about where to push explorers, thinking about limiting the numbers of explorers in certain lands. We got to have rampant green with a filled out board. I mean, some people say the spirit is just stupid broken to begin with, but Grinning Trickster was also completely filled out as well, almost. So that was fun. Didn't get to do too much with Strife in this game, but I think it was kind of cool doing the energy first on both spirits approach. Like, normally I just go up card place track and I say, like, for instance, green doesn't need energy because we get 3 energy off of this, but for some reason this game I just decided to go ham on energy. I was expecting to utilize the energy on Trickster to utilize the Strife, since you have to pay energy to add Strife, but I didn't do that too much. Instead I gained majors, and I finished with only 5 cards, which is silly. I also forgot 3 of my unique powers, including overenthusiastic arson. Much to Orgasm Eternal's despair. We forgot proliferation and overgrow over here. I like that it says forgotten unique power cards are permanently removed from the game. Slightly untrue. Although the word permanent is... I mean, permanent would mean that you can never get it back, right? But now with Nature Incarnate event cards... Actually, I think Jagged Earth also introduced it as well. You can get unique power cards you previously forgot back with events. And I think at least one major power has that on a threshold as well. So that's why I've been leaning more towards forgetting a unique power, because you can get those back a little more easily than minor powers. Like, say for instance that I decided to forget Rain of Blood at some point, I could not get that back until I reshuffle the minor power deck, which is literally, like, not impossible but very difficult. But I feel like Incite the Mob is really strong when you have Strife effects. Even though it's only 1 invader dealing damage, it's still really nice to have a Strife City deal 3 damage. Unexpected Tigers obviously adds beasts. Adding beasts is generally good. That's why I lead into forgetting overenthusiastic arson. Like, I feel like forgetting Impersonate Authority is just wrong. 0 energy adds Strife on a spirit that can pay an energy to add an extra Strife. I feel like you don't forget that. But I don't know. I'm wrong. I'm always wrong. No matter what I say or do, I'm wrong. That's just how it works around here. Just kidding. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Check me out next week. There are still 3 pairs of adversaries to play with dual adversaries, and then we'll figure out what we're gonna do moving forward. I'm really having fun doing this. This gives me, like, something to look forward to in my streams instead of it just being aimless. Like, I feel like I have a goal. I have to win dual adversaries. Just like before, I was winning scenarios with a level 3 adversary. Now I'm doing dual adversaries with a level 3 and a level 2. Maybe I'll just start over, do level 4 adversaries, and then level 4 adversaries with scenarios, and then level 4 adversaries with level 3 secondary? I don't know. That's, like, down the road, though. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.